Hey friends, so we're in my hometown of St. Augustine, Florida, and I'm here to show you some of the best fun things to do while you're in town. We're going to start off at the San Sebastian Winery. Now you might be saying, Bridget, a winery? Is that really family friendly? Yes. They do tours. I've been coming to this winery since I was little, and no, I've not been drinking since that age. If you do have little kids, they did offer like sparkling apple cider and non-alcoholic beverages for them during the wine tasting portion, but it's really fun to learn more about the history of how they make their wines, and you can actually buy the wines here and throughout parts of Florida at different retailers such as like Target and Publix and things of that nature. So come on, we're gonna go jump on a wine tour and do some wine tasting and check it out. So we're in the gift shop. We're actually waiting for the tour to begin. I think it begins in about like 5 or so minutes. They've got these really cool wine cards that look like vintage wine bottles, and it has like your birth year. So I was born in 90, and on it says the best hand-picked birthday wishes. And then on the inside it tells you like all about like what happened in 1990. So it says like George Bush is president. Smoking on domestic airline flights is banned. Atlanta's awarded the Summer Olympics. Different things like that about your birth year. So these are really fun. I think they're only, yeah, they're $3.99 here. So these are great birthday option. And they have these for like all of the years. Like I think it goes back to 1927.
First question, the reason I ask this first question we usually receive is where are your vineyards located? Now we are part of what's called Sebin Incorporated, which is Southeast American Vineyards, and they own 2 wineries. They own San Sebastian, named after the little body of water after San Sebastian River. But they own a much larger one, it's called Lake Ridge, and it is located in Clermont, Florida, which is about 20 miles northwest of Orlando. They have a vineyard there. They have another vineyard in a little place called Prosperity, Florida, which is in the Florida Panhandle, about halfway between Tallahassee and Pensacola. Okay. Now, that said, we cannot grow the traditional wine grapes down here. So the species Vitis vinifera that most people associate with wines, things like Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnays, Merlots, Pinot Noirs, that type of thing, we can't grow those grapes here. Climate's a little bit too warm, too moist, and we have a disease down here called Pierce's disease that kills those vines in about 3 to 5 years. So what we're doing is 2 things. Primarily we're using muscadine grapes, which are the native grapes of the southeast United States. There's over 400 different varieties of muscadines grow wild down here. Very thick-skinned, very fruity grapes. So our wines tend to be on the sweeter side. That wall right there is the exterior wall of what was the original building, built back in 1923 for the Florida East Coast Railway across the street. Henry Flagler's railway. That was their headquarters over there. But Henry Flagler died about 10 years before that building went up, so he never saw it. Railroad used it for record storage, keeping parts and things like that. Winery opened up in there December 13, 1996. So about 22 and a half years old at this point. This part of the building, as you saw in the video, was opened up officially late April 2002. On this side over here, we have 6 5,000-gallon stainless steel water-cooled fermentation tanks. So roughly 40,000 gallons here, but our sister winery, the Lake Ridge Winery down in Clermont, Florida, has in excess of 500,000 gallons. Okay, so that's how much bigger they are. So they take care of the table wines. We are more responsible for the fortified wines, the dessert wines, which you'll see in just a few moments. Okay. All this barrel room for obvious reasons. Last official count I heard is about 143 barrels in here. These are all American white oak barrels. They've all been charred on the inside because all of these barrels were used previously for making bourbon whiskey. Okay. The smaller barrels, about 25 gallons. The larger barrels, about 53 gallons. Ground rules for which are red wine, white wine, dry wine, sweet wine, table wine, fortified wines. Rule number 1, if I pour it, please try it. Rule number 2, if you try it and don't like it, pour it in your neighbor's glass. Rule number 3, if your neighbor doesn't like it, pour it into the buckets. Rule number 4 is please, under no circumstances, try anything in the buckets. Why not? The rows up on now. Those are going to
It's great. It's nice being back. Obviously it's a lot different now because I am of age and I do drink wine, so I kind of understand what they're talking about, but it's a beautiful building. It's a free tour, free wine tasting. Definitely check it out, especially if you're into wine. You'll learn a lot about the history. Fun fact, did you know that the first U.S. wine was actually made in St. Augustine back in 1865? I think it's nice. It's a great activity, especially when it's hot out. You're out of the sun, you're inside, you're in the AC. You get to try something new, and you get to learn a lot about the history of both winemaking and of St. Augustine combined, and sort of how this winery became what it is and how it was started here. So here in St. Augustine, we're known for one type of pepper. It's called a datil pepper, or a Menorcan datil pepper, and you can actually buy the hot sauce here. So they've got Menorcan datil pepper hot sauce, they've got Menorcan datil pepper vinegar, and those are the actual peppers that are in them. And they grow only here in St. Augustine. They even have extra hot sauce. They've got barbecue sauce, which we had earlier, and it was excellent. And they have like sweet heat salsa, datil pepper mustard, datil pepper cranberry jam, datil pepper jelly. We love our datil pepper here. And if you didn't know, St. Augustine's the nation's oldest city, which is why it says, from the nation's oldest city. So we've just left the winery and we walked probably, not even a mile down the road where we found the distillery. So they distill different types of alcohol here. I've actually never had a chance to go here. This opened since I've left St. Augustine. So I'm really excited to check it out. There's also the ice plant, which is to my knowledge, is a building where they used to ship in ice from different parts way back in the day.
Alright, making bourbon. What I need you to do is I need you to think of making an alcohol as a multi-step process, okay? First you have the cooking stage, followed by fermentation. Next is the actual distillation part, and lastly with bourbon you can tack on the aging stage inside of the barrel. Let me introduce you to your bartender. Hello, my name is Rebecca. It's nice to meet you all. We wear many hats around here. They give me props to play with now. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is demo for you one cocktail, actually show you how to make it, and then I'm just going to pour out the samples. Sound like a good deal? Okay. So our drink menu for down here in the tasting room is right there on that chalkboard. The Florida Mule features our cane vodka. The rum tiki cocktail, of course, has our rum in it, and then the hibiscus spritz features our most awarded spirit, our New World Botanical Gin. That happens to be my favorite out of the three down here.
So we just got to try 3 different cocktails from the distillery, a rum-based one, or a vodka-based one, a rum-based one, and a gin-based one. My favorite was the vodka one, but I really like mules, so this is a play on a Moscow mule. I'm having some lemonade now.
The golden cane sugar to sweeten it up a tad. So we're going to start our old-fashioned with 1 part of that old-fashioned mix. That was about an ounce right there, and then we have our 88 proof Florida straight bourbon. You heard about it on your tour with Rebecca today. Well, let's start making this old-fashioned, adding 1 part of our bourbon to 1 part mix. Well, that's even. That's something, I guess. 1 to 2 parts, the needle moves in the right direction. 1 to 3 parts, we're getting bourbananas over here. And I don't know if you're like me, folks. I believe in going bourbon forward. Let's do 4 parts bourbon. That's right. It's a bourbon forward cocktail, 80% bourbon. Then you're going to go ahead and add your ice, give it a stir to chill it down, and that is going to meld our textures together. It's going to be a nice, velvety, consistent, foolproof old-fashioned each and every time, and yes, that is all it takes, that simple. And I'm going to start pouring these out, folks. As I do, you're welcome to come on up and try an old-fashioned sample.
So this is a old-fashioned with the Florida bourbon, whatever it's called. Yeah, bourbon. It's 4 parts bourbon, 1 part mix. And I'm going to try it, and I'm not excited.
That does conclude your guided tour, your cocktail demonstrations. But as promised, we'll open up the tasting bar now. So if you want to say away in the spirit straight, I'm Larry, this is Michael. We have everything up here, vodka, rum, gin, bourbon. Just let us know what you want to try. The tasting bar's open.
Real strong. I'm not a bourbon fan. If you like bourbon, I feel like you'd like it, but I don't like bourbon. See, now this is a way I could deal with eating bourbon. A bourbon pecan coffee cake. but bourbon on its own, not for me. So we just finished our tour at the St. Augustine Distillery, and man did I learn a lot. On top of learning a ton about how the different alcohols are made, we actually were able to try 4 different cocktails. We were able to try a vodka-based cocktail, which was the Florida Mule, a rum-based cocktail, which was the Rum Tiki, a gin-based cocktail, which was the Hibiscus Fizz, and a old-fashioned. And probably out of those 4, my favorite was the Florida Mule. I'm a big Moscow Mule fan to begin with, so those extra flavors really were what suited my personality and what I like taste-wise. But they also had, if you had kids that weren't able to drink, they did have water and lemonade samples for them, so that was really nice as well. And it was really, like, I learned a ton about it. I did not know anything about making bourbon or gin or vodka or any of that, and so being able to learn about how it's actually made was really interesting. So we are here today at the St. Augustine Lighthouse that has been around since 1874. This is not the original lighthouse. The original lighthouse you can actually see a model of inside. It was more of a light station that the Spanish used as like a light tower. But this has been up since at least the 1940s, I know that. But it's really cool, and we're gonna go check it out. And I haven't done this in a very long time, so I'm super excited. Whole lot of stairs, and we're at the top. That's the St. Augustine Lighthouse. So as you can see, over here is actually downtown St. Augustine. You may be able to see it, but there's the Bridge of Lions and the Flagler Museum and Flagler College. And as you get over here, the Atlantic Ocean. Isn't it pretty? We are 165 feet in the air, which doesn't seem very high on like paper, like when you're reading it, but my butt's kind of shaky right now, which is funny considering I went skydiving last year. But we're 165 feet in the air. I told you my butt's shaky. It's 219 steps that you had to take going up, which equals 14 stories. And guess what? You gotta take those 219 steps going down. Yay, that'll be fun. No, I'm just kidding. It is a lot of fun, and it doesn't seem that much when you're going up. You go up in about 40-step increments. So, and there's landings at each level. Yeah, if you have foot, leg issues, or you are bound to a wheelchair or disabled of some sort, you will not be able to come up. There's no elevator or whatnot. So, unfortunate, but there is still a lot that you can do on the ground level without going up into the actual lighthouse. So once you get to the top of the stairs, you can actually see the original frontal lens, which is what lights up the lighthouse at night. Right now, they're actually, instead of using like an oil or whatever to light it, they have a 1,000-watt light bulb, which you can see up there. And as this turns, it signals where the coast is. 219 steps up, 219 steps down, and I'm done. I did it. So in this room, these are the 100-gallon vats I used to hold the oil that would keep the lighthouse lit at night. And if you look down at this bucket, this is the type of bucket that they would fill with 20 pounds of oil and then have to carry it up. And I can tell you, this is not a light bucket. Like, it's heavy duty. It's well made. And I don't think I'd be able to carry it up those stairs. So I'm right next to the lighthouse, and they actually have like a little garden here. So there's onions. And if you remember me mentioned earlier, dado peppers, which are known for being from St. Augustine. There's pole beans, which are kind of like green beans. There's squash. There's corn, pole beans, and squash. Here's spinach. And tomatoes. There's even a nice bench over here that you can just sit in the shade and enjoy the lighthouse and just kind of enjoy yourself. Take a little break to cool off. It's much cooler here than it is in the sun. It's pretty hot today, so make sure you drink lots of water. So that wraps up our time at the St. Augustine Lighthouse and our time in St. Augustine over the past couple days. I'm so glad I got to come home for a little bit and got to kind of explore it as a tourist again. I find when you grow up in an area like this, you sort of take the things for granted. I actually grew up right down the road from here. I played tennis right on the courts right next door, so it's something I got to see every day, and it's something I definitely took for granted growing up. So it was really nice to come back and actually enjoy my time and see it with fresh eyes again. But I hope you guys had a great time. Leave any questions or comments you have about St. Augustine down below. There's a lot of things that I wasn't able to highlight or be able to show you guys, such as the fort or the old schoolhouse or the oldest shop or any of those things. But if you guys like to see a video of that, leave it down below and I'll try to make some time to come back up here and film that. Don't forget I upload every week. And I'll see you next time, and this is Bridgette's Buzz.